playing guitar sometimes has everything to do with playing chess. What? I'll tell you all about this. Grab your guitar, we're gonna get started right after this. Hello, my name is David Wallerman. Welcome to this channel, which is all about helping guitar players around the world find their unique voice on the instrument to tell their own personal musical story. And yes, sometimes telling your story requires a little bit of prep work. That prep work is maybe not exactly what you think. That prep work happens instantaneously in your mind as you are playing. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, in this case, on a blues context, I'm talking about anticipating the chord changes slightly. I'm not talking about anticipating that like a minute before the chord happens so that you know what to play. No, I'm talking about really knowing what is coming and playing that, suggesting that change a little bit before it happens, which will result in something a little tense, but if done properly, it can be very engaging for the audience. Now, we're gonna use a blues in E, a very typical blues, the one you're hearing right now. This backing track can be downloaded for free. You know how it works, right? There's a link in the top line of the description of this video, and it's kind of hard to talk over something. Anyways, the link is below. Download that, it's free, and let's get into this lesson. Before you understand what is going on, I want you to understand what is not going on. So here's what's happening over this backing track. We have three different chords. We have an E7 chord. Great. E7, which means that I could play the E7 arpeggio. And then A7. Okay, that's the second chord. Back to the first chord. Here's the third chord, that's a B7. Back to A7 and E7. Now, over these three chords, you could play, if you wanted, you could play an E minor pentatonic scale, E minor blues, no problem. That's always gonna work, but if you wanna sound a little different, target the notes of these three chords. So you know this, we've covered this on the channel, but that means that over the A7, target some of those A7 notes and E7 notes blended with the minor pentatonic scale. I'm gonna do that when the chord change happens. Minor pentatonic. I'm gonna target some of these notes. Here's the second chord. The third chord. Now what happens if I anticipate the chord? So I'm in E right now. I'm gonna think, okay, the A comes soon, so I'm gonna hit a note of A before. Just a little bit before it happened. Same with E. I'm anticipating that. Here's the B, here's the A. And I'm gonna play E right now. So this is a sweet spot. You don't wanna do it way before. You don't wanna do it right now, that's too early. But now would be good. It's a little bit of tension before you're playing over the chord, but it's enough tension so that when it happens, you really feel the resolution. Still E. Here's the A. B, A, E. All right, so did that make sense? It's just anticipating slightly. We use the blues, which is a very typical chord progression heard over and over because it's a very easy style chord progression to start preparing those things. But things get really interesting when you are using this concept over more complex chord progressions, less expected chord progression. The tension that you feel within those, 3, 4, 5 seconds playing something that is not yet there creates like this sense of suspense. Oh my gosh, he doesn't know how to play. What's going on? And then the chord happens and then, oh my gosh, he knew all along. That's exactly the concept. So it's just like chess, right? You're anticipating the moves. Practicing this doesn't take a very long time, and it only requires for you to hear the chord progression once, because if you can do that, you can anticipate what is going to happen and just make sure that you play just a few seconds before. Experiment with this. So how do you do that? How do you experiment with that thing? Well, you grab any backing track you want, like this one, which is available for free, but any others, and listen to it and prep your work. Now, when I say prep, I'm not saying that all your solos should be prepped. It's not practical. But the more you prepare this kind of thing, the more you get used to a chord progression, the more you'll recognize things happening over and over. That next time you hear a different chord progression within the same style, you will hear some similarities with the things that you have prepared during your practice session. It's training your ear. Like the blues, well, I prepped that a little bit. Now I don't have to prep it anymore, right? Because there are some recurring themes that happen. But you prep this with something simple, like this backing track in E, and experiment with how much time before the chord happens do you need to suggest the chord. There's a sweet spot there. And there's no mathematical rule. You kind of need to test that. What works for you? If you play the chord in anticipation of the chord happening like 20 seconds before, well, that could work in certain styles. I'm thinking like more of an outside jazz fusion type of thing. But there's a sweet spot to be had, and that's something you need to discover for you. Grab this. The PDF will also include some scales for you to practice. And that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If this was your very first visit, well, you like this video, you should consider subscribing, because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, a new video just like this one comes out with a simple concept for you to take and explore to hopefully help you find your voice on the instrument. This is your pencil, you are the author. Let's learn how to use the pencil to tell better stories. Thank you so much for watching this. Practice well. I'll see you very, very soon. Until next time, haven't said that in so long. See you next time.